German to give out the right information for these white inhabitants that came all the way from South Africa to escape. Hey, if some people you cannot live within other people, that sucks. And then this is talking about to Korean people. The Japanese never had to do anything to do after World War II. Complaining of the Lane Court Rock situations, that might be full of phony baloney and what it is. The Zulus or some South African tribes may has fighting with each other, taking over other tribes or whatever, right? And this is what happened in South Africa. You gotta live within. Some people, they gotta live within these new white communities that have migrated. No interfere. They have, people, what it is that this new form of regimen of governments, this will be provided by information of white people born in Korea to form and to get informed that what they have misled, they have to get the right information, getting a little bit of everything, not just that, but people ain't perfect and they don't have saying about phony baloney stories. The only phony baloney stories is when they made up and they exaggerate things, Yeah. It will be ridiculous of seeing books of saying, what would the Japanese might do? And they just putting other stories. Oh yeah, that they have worked with the Europeans, to enslave Africans. That's kind of bull crap. That is more of in the Korean textbooks that says about the Japanese, right? This is more that they have to do of these white South African communities going to an exile in South Korea under a new government, under a new party, separate than its government. As soon if that will be developed, they might have the people who are the few whites born in South Korea will have that and probably have an order of impeachment because of the president. Because what is this? If they want to just, it's not because you're going against you guys, or we're not going against anybody. Alright, this is not what I'm not promoting pro-Japanese or anything like that. What I'm promoting is this. Underappreciating what others do, only to appreciate all the bad crap. I could remember this Pearl Harbor. I could remember when did the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor? Yes, they did attack Pearl Harbor, but it's not right to glorify. Oh yeah, Fukushima's good for some people. You cannot have more of just an invasion. Of what would be? What would it be if this? Well, if white South Africans are in exile going to South Korea, then they have to be provided, Japanese guards and U.S. Military men, people could have to guard these white communities in South Korea with textbooks, giving a lot of information, a bit of good information, I'm not saying not to give out what it is, they're saying, oh yeah, that the Japanese were the first pirates in Asia, and that is just misled information. The right information will be led on with these little white communities in South Korea when they exiled from South Africa to South Korea. Textbooks provided most likely good information of everything, the right history. You're getting informed, and then you have a CCCJ and other religious groups based in Japan doing missionaries in these new South Korean communities where these white exiles could escape, having an escape plan, having these children born over there, and what it is just having a bit of a change over there. And that way, two countries that have hate each other's guts for years, for like us here calling I could remember, I used to see videos of this, the Gulf of America videos. That's kind of ridiculous. That's just the same thing what the Koreans do with the Sea of Japan, try to change the name, right? Yeah, if you have these new infiltrate, people to do exile, these exile places and all that stuff is provided by just an identifying different form of government paid by people who are white, who are born white in South Korea, that get the right information from the Japanese government to see how to teach better relations and what is the right, given the right reputation, the right education, to see not just from South Korea, but what they have the unappreciated, but some things that have gone bad. Japan has done bad also, and nobody's perfect. And also, where would these tribes originated in their new land in Asia? I mean, it would be Australia is one country that's probably in Southeast Asia near Indonesia, but you have another country with more white inhabitants next to Japan besides Russia, around that Sea of Japan area and stuff. It would be better off that these new inhabitants have better relations. But let me tell you something. If you think I know what it is, the annexation video, what it is to do wrong and whatever, I got that. I have seen pictures. I have seen where these guys have related. What it is that you have to understand the information. Understand the information of certain tribes. Understand information of why whites are being discriminated in South Africa, and why some certain tribes would be related to the ethnicity or the background of the Koreans. There's a certain African tribe from South Africa, and that's where you get the DNA test, where they have to do is they line up, get DNA tests, blood samples, see where these genetically tribe DNA, these African tribes, DNA of these African tribes are close connected to the Korean people. Not to say I'm against them or anything, but where is that all this dislikes or not living in peace and harmony? Well, this kind of new form of government, new communities, has to be gated, even though it sucks to start like that. It has to be more that I need your petition signed there, or make a petition for exile for white South Africans to South Korea in a new form, to have better relations with Japan, with these children of these people born in Africa of European background. Get the right information, better to get informed, better to share what it is, that within the Korean people could live with peace and harmony with their white inhabitants. And when they're living together with their white inhabitants, that would be the best thing ever. And then it would be this. By the day they have one of these children born of these white inhabitants, just less than that, or the day that one of those whites that are born in South Korea, and depending where it comes to the generation, become president of that country, they have the information, get informed. They may even learn history from Germany, and when they're children, they take them to Berlin for field trips to learn what is to unify and what is to learn about that. But also, they could also learn about the history of inheritance, if they have come from Dutch background and British background. Yeah, living in Korea in general. But they might be this. They might just learn things of these things. White inhabitants, and an actual white Korea, where most of their inhabitants are white, where these people of ethnically Korean background who have to live in peace with their white inhabitants. And I hope this could be better off, because this would be better relationships between Japan and Korea. But there might be a problem. Don't worry about this. Don't be afraid of an exploding population of white inhabitants in Korea, because people in South Africa have suffered the way of discrimination. And then I don't want to be mean or want to be rude, but some of you, if there is the thing of the Lane Court Rock issues or situation, if there's something, if one of them has agreed that it is with Japan, some of you might have to go to jail. Can you imagine going to jail for unauthorized occupation of another territory that belongs to another country? If that is the case, maybe if that has misled to taking some people living in Korea in jail, where a mass white population are living and the government is controlled by a white person. That has to be, I think it is better off to have a person in power who is white. To have a person in power who is white, to have better relationship with Japan, is better off to seeing some people in Korea going to jail for unauthorized invading of another territory of another country. If that is the case with the Lane Court Rock situation, in that way, seems like a better future between Japan and Korea. And I guess this is for the better. This is for the better. It sucks to start with gated communities, having Japanese guarding their gated white South African communities in South Korea. Yes, it sucks, but it has to be what it has to be. These new inhabitants, if they have be grown to the majority, please don't be afraid. Learn how to live. For some of you people, learn how to live with others. Because if you have misunderstanding or what else, don't mix up. Sooner or later in the future is the same white people that killed blacks in South Africa, that you said that they have come to invasion because Japan has helped them, have mixed with the misunderstanding. We don't want no misunderstanding, because not all white people hates everybody. Not all Japanese people are like that. But I think, please live in peace and harmony, and please, for all of you, write a petition. U.S. government, the UN. We need somebody to have a better face, to have white inhabitants going to South Korea providing education, textbooks, good history for giving the right information about Japan for the little children of these white South African inhabitants. So these white inhabitants will have a better future. Japan will have a better future with South Korea if the population, of white inhabitants gets the infiltration that a new government has to be formed in Korea. So goodbye and have a nice evening or day, bye. Hello folks, well, then what we're talking about here is discrimination in South Africa, and what it be is this. Look, we're not talking about not just discrimination in South Africa, but what we're talking about is this misplacement of inhabitants. Of what we talking about is white invasion, and I'm not saying I am not against anybody or I don't dislike anybody. It's okay to get along with everyone. I have informed. I just got informed of things, Since I posted a video and added some program called I put some text in Japanese using Google Translate in the White Korea video. So what was happening is, it is true that there is something and there is a calling, that once you see things on TV and on YouTube, this is information age, and this is where it goes here and about. And I'm telling you, what if it's relation to what? There is so many problems, people not to get along with each other. We have from Korea the Gangnam Style and K-pop and all stuff. Where were these guys originated? Actually, tell me about it. Did the Zulus came to Asia? I might think that there is. I'm not talking about this, and we're talking about, first of all, the discrimination of white South Africans in South Africa. Where would this heard about of people, whites getting not getting jobs and being unemployed in South Africa or in Zimbabwe or something like that? Well, whites being tortured, and I'm just thinking about where the hell would these white people might do if there's no place to go? Escape. And I have to thank Random Yoko for these videos and the annexation video. Look, annexation, European annexation in South Africa has happened, right? But there is a whole different story. And I tell you, one of those African tribes, probably the Zulu, might have close relations to the Koreans. I'm not against Koreans. I'm not putting no anti-Korean everything or whatever. What I'm doing is what is a part of what is those tribes from South Africa have to do blood samples in laboratories. Blood samples with the Korean people also. Where would this bloodline still related to South African tribes in Japanese laboratories? Get it? We know. It's like, what is it, this misunderstanding? Misunderstanding of cultures, or misunderstanding of, getting along with each other? Damn. This is crazy. This is so damn crazy. Yeah. As for some of you watching this video, if you're watching the dear Korean people, yes, you have just done something wrong. You cannot live or be grateful. You have to just give out the bad rap. We're not here in America. We don't need to give up the bad rap. All right, there's people who is think, oh yeah, what the hell they're gonna do? Oh yeah, you wanna like glorify. Some of you might glorify, oh yeah, what's that happened to Pearl Harbor? We have take back. No, that's something wrong, and that's something that says you wanna wish for them to die. Look, some of you might not even think it, but for some of you, I'm gonna tell you this. Some of you guys has related. You have tribal relatives in Africa, South Africa. That's what happened with the white population. Getting. I'm not talking about they're getting killed. Getting discriminated, getting kicked out, not getting jobs. Where would they have to go? Where would these people have to go? You know where they gotta go? Asia. And there is no better place for these victims to exile in South Korea. Yes, there's a solution there. There is a solution. There is a solution for these people in South Africa, the whites in South Korea. At least, to my point of extension, whites born in Korea, you have misled and misunderstood and misinformation about Japanese people. Let Japan do its work and build some communities in South Korea. White communities all have to be gated. And that sucks, has to be gated communities. Before you enter there, you're not gonna give misled of information. All it is this. They have nothing to do with the government of Japan, but for example, these people who are white would have a second chance to build a new community to see what is the relations between Japan and Korea to be better. And it's like forming the Tea Party. You have tea parties or reform parties, in every country. One reform party is called the White Party. What is the White Party? It's not against, ethnic Koreans or anything like that. It is to show that as based on individuals, even though they might get support from the Japanese government, the U.S. government, and have to guard those white communities also, to give, good information, textbooks, have it in Dutch, in English,